Let's talk about how to adjust your marketing calendar under extreme economic uncertainty, because just because you build it does not always mean that they're going to come running ever, but especially during a global pandemic when you are very likely fighting for the livelihood and the survival of your creative small business. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what I have changed in my marketing calendar for the rest of this year, what I've not changed in my calendar, and also a few tips and tricks that I've told our consulting clients, copywriting clients, and students. Hey there, if we haven't met yet, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a conversion copywriter and launch and brand strategist for creatives just like you. And boy, as I told someone lately, hold my earrings, I am ready to fight for small businesses these days because the world needs what we do so very badly. But selling and marketing in this landscape can be a little crazy. Hit like though if you didn't come this far to stop now, no matter where you are in your creative small business journey. I have been building marketing plans since before Twitter was a thing. Shout out to my college PR practicum. And I'm ready to talk about your marketing plan in this video. I'm also just going to jump straight in today because if you're like me, there's someone really small who needs your support. My goal in these videos is to always get you the bite-sized information in 15 minutes or less. So if you want to be in the loop on those and haven't subscribed before, look down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it to join in the fam. Okay, number one, this is why I plan my quarterly champagne campaign system every single year. Now, I've talked about this at length in other videos and I will link them down below, but when I say quarterly champagne campaign system, that is a fancy way of saying I do 4 big marketing pushes a year, and that's pretty much it. There are other marketing campaigns sprinkled in the mix of all that, but if I don't get those 4 big things out the door and make a big stink about them and really work to change mindsets and help people understand what I do, then I know that my revenue plan is not going to work. I go all in 4 times a year. So when all this COVID-19 stuff started happening, I did have a moment where I was like, thank the Lord that I at least can push back and move some of my launches just to give some time to breathe and for everybody to get their feet back on the ground and realize what's going on. Now, if you want to dig into more business strategy, then look below. I will link the Facebook Live that I did about that. I really want to keep this video more focused on your marketing calendar, but that live may help you. I think over 13,000 people have watched it, so hopefully it'll serve you as well. But here's the thing I keep coming back to with all of this, both in my own business and then also as I continue to teach and coach students and clients. This could be a chance for you to rebirth and rework a lot of the things in your business. So many times we build something and then we feel chained to it, whether it is our offer ladder or our offers themselves, or even our marketing calendar or promo calendar, or just showing up on social media the way that we think we should. This could be your chance and your wake-up call to change it. Start over, to go back to the drawing board. For me, and maybe for you too, a lot of this looks like first starting with truly accepting the sobering news of what has happened and then how that may affect my business and the other businesses that partner and lean on mine. Some of you know my story. I went through eating disorder recovery a few years ago, and one phrase that I remember was the idea of radical acceptance, just truly accepting that something has happened and now I have to adjust to work within that framework. Maybe you need that too, and you just need to accept right now that things are going to have to change in your marketing calendar and your sales calendar and plan for the rest of the year, and that's okay. It's okay to scratch some things out and start over with a fresh new plan for the rest of the year. You need to pair your financial blueprint with your promotional calendar of, again, like I teach 4 seasonal marketing campaigns. I have a lot of theories and a lot of data on why that works, but it's basically how I plan to hit my numbers and then rest and go into greater periods of not just serving, but also pushing out and creating. I call it the champagne campaign system because as good as champagne is, you can't just guzzle a glass of bubbly every single day, or you could, I guess, but you enjoy it and then you let it rest, right? Again, I'll link the YouTube video below where I talk a little bit more about why I believe in that system and in those strategies, but it boils down to this. If your content strategy isn't built on a measurable marketing plan or a revenue strategy, then it's just a sandcastle blueprint. And that's why I wanted to include this in number 1. So this step number 1, adjusting your marketing plan, is something I teach to my Prime to Launch students, and in my Prime to Launch playbook, I'll link that down below. But essentially, if you've been through that program or if you've never been through it before, pull out things and see what happens if you trim your business down to going 30 to even 90 days without any new revenue coming in. My students know I keep a calendar beside my desk of revenue numbers and goals that I need to hit, so maybe you even need to change that up if you do something similar. Again, having all this in place made it not a huge deal to readjust my marketing calendar when all this hit. It was easy for me to look at my calendar, move a couple of dates, Slack my team and say, hey guys, I'm gonna push back a couple of these launches just to give us some breathing room and space space for the dust to settle. And this is the same kind of thing that I coach some clients through as well. We looked at their upcoming launches and sales calendars and reworked things. Maybe they pushed a launch later in the year and they're coming out with a mini version at a much smaller price point of a similar offer now. But that's what I mean here in step number 1. Tip number 2, switch up your marketing plan and then consequently probably your pricing structure to offer some lower ticket offers and DIY versions, or even bits and pieces of what you do so people can get access at a lower price point. Now in that YouTube video and then also in the Prime to Launch program, I taught through the concept of launching your services. So if you're a service provider right now and you tuned out on me when I said the word launch, come on back, because I don't want you to think of launch as only for people that offer products or only digital products. Launch just means a promo campaign or period. Let me show you what I mean. This came in from my student Ashley. She said, I'm in the middle of pre-launching my new and improved one-on-one service right now, but I'm thinking ahead to Q2, Q3 and trying to get creative with other lower ticket offers and trying to get creative on how I could help folks who may be tight on cash and can't afford my bigger services right now. Is anybody else feeling like that? Comment below if you are in the same boat as Ashley. She wrapped it up saying, I don't want to exhaust my audience with selling, but I also need a contingency plan to keep money flowing in and my business afloat. Preach, girl. Okay, so I want to talk to you about what I told Ashley and all the students who were on that call. What I would do is focus on the big pre-launch strategy that you've already set up. Again, if you've been through PTL, you know what I'm talking about, but I want you to focus on shifting and turning over those mindset shifts that you need, even if not everybody on your launch list is going to be able to afford that one-on-one offer. Because on the back end of that, I want you to absolutely offer lower ticket version. That could mean a quick strategy call with you. That could mean a day rate or a quick and dirty session or an audit. Are there ways you can take your one-on-one service and pare it down to super tight, kind of quick and dirty style ways to get your people what they want at a lower price point? Those would be some kind of done with you options that you could offer of that product. But could you also create some kind of DIY version where people can just get access to some of the tools that you use to create and then go? And then create marketing strategies to push those kind of options as well. If you've never thought about a DIY version or a quick and dirty version of what you do and putting that somewhere in your offer ladder, I think it's a good idea to have one. As a blanket rule of thumb, I think it's a great idea for everyone to. Again, sometimes it's these crazy situations like this that make us go back to the drawing board and reassess, what do people actually need? Think about the movie industry right now. I watched Emma the other night. It was beautiful. I loved it. Also, if you liked Clueless in the 90s, you'll love it. That movie was supposed to go straight to theaters, but instead the execs saw what was happening, noticed all these people staying at home, and then reworked their whole system to get things to the people that needed them and the way that they wanted to consume it. Is this starting to make sense? Go ahead and comment below if you're starting to get this, or you can think about another way that you could offer people what you do and build a mini campaign around that. I'll go ahead and say too, while I'm at it, that typically regularly during an election year, we see payment plans become more of an option that people want to dig into just because of the natural uncertainty of the year. Now they're going to be really popular. So make sure that you're extending those payment plans or just offering your clients and your customers ways to pay bit by bit. Last thing I'll say here, the tool Gravy has been so helpful for us to help recoup missed payments. If somebody's payment or credit card fails, I'll link them below. They've been an incredible resource the more I've grown my business and payment plans, because you should probably be stretching out your payment plans too. Again, my 2 cents. And tip number 3 in this marketing plan revisit that I want you to do, make sure that you are continuing to get out there, show up and serve, even if you don't quite feel like it. I am not saying you need to be the most productive person right now, but hear my heart on this. I'm not really big into the Enneagram. I've been diagnosed as a 1 or a 3, but whatever I am, I'm the type that when stuff like this is going on, I just want to pull the covers over my head and disappear for a little while. But we have to keep showing up for our people. I want you to step in as a leader right now. This doesn't mean you have to fix all their problems. I just want you to continue to show up on the regularly scheduled plan that you were typically doing before all of this. There's a pop culture podcast that's funny and usually inappropriate called the Chicks in the Office podcast. And I love on that how they were saying, you know, our job is to entertain you and give you a bit of escapism. And so we're going to continue to do that. I can't go hide under my covers right now. Neither can you. We've worked way too hard on our creative small businesses to stop now. Here are 3 things I've learned that have helped me a little bit with this. Tip number 1, lean on writing prompts. I've talked a lot about messaging right now in different tools and resources, and I will link some of those below. But one thing I've really benefited on is sitting down every morning and just getting some of my thoughts out, especially before I write marketing messages. Now, I have a tool that may help you with this. If you post a lot of content on Instagram, it's my 365 caption party starter templates. But taking one of those sometimes and just putting it on my computer and starting to type what I feel about that has helped me figure out the message that I want to say. We all have a lot going on in our heads right now. It's okay okay to start with some little prompt or tool that can help at least get those wheels going. Tip number 2, people are online a lot right now, so go ahead and be with them. Be with your people, listen to them and talk to them. I personally found Instagram stories to be a great way that I can do this. That's both where my audience is, but it also is kind of fun for me. I went to the social media marketing world at the beginning of this month before everything, and I learned a couple of great tips about Instagram stories. One in particular, see how you can brand your Instagram stories so they're recognizably yours, whether you're using the same fonts every time or colors or outlining it a certain way. Whatever you can do to visually brand your Instagram stories, see how you could focus on that during this time. And tip number 3, don't come at all of this with the idea, I'm just gonna show up and serve right now, because they'll remember after all of this who was really serving them. I still think you can see through that stuff. Instead, I want to ask you, when you are showing up and serving right now, even if it never came back financially, would you still be doing this? I'm not saying put out everything for free. I just want you to think twice before you serve like crazy, with the mindset underlying that one day everybody's gonna pay you for all this. Because free content never means that one day the scales are gonna magically tip in your favor and the money's gonna come rushing in. So even if you weren't financially rewarded for it, would you still show up and do this thing that you love so much and get it into the hands of the people that need it? I think that's just a business gut check we need right now. Now that you have some ideas about how you could adjust your marketing calendar, you may not know what to say, so look down below and I have a copy swipe guide that you can use to communicate to your clients and your customers during this sensitive time. And you'll also find a link down there to get your hands on my Prime to Launch playbook. This is the workbook that can kind of talk you through some of the things that I mentioned in here, that quarterly champagne campaign system, the 3 H's of your content planning, that. It's all there for $37 and you can get your hands on it below. And a bonus tip, once I get to your website, how easy is it for me to find your offers and what you do? Make sure you subscribe, because the next 2 videos that I have are going to talk all about your website optimization and copy optimization tips. Hit subscribe so you don't miss those. Click like if you found this helpful. And as always, thanks so much for tuning in.